Today on Inside Tuscaloosa City Schools, this is the season of giving, and TCS students are taking that to heart. Plus, the Board of Education approved a plan that will have long-term positive impacts on the school system. And ESL students celebrate a milestone. All this and more is next. Stay tuned. Hi, thanks for joining us today on Inside Tuscaloosa City Schools. I'm Eddie McClinton. At the December 15th meeting, the Board of Education voted yes to an integrated curriculum, facilities, demographic strategic plan presented by Superintendent Dr. Paul McKendrick. At the December 15th meeting, the Board of Education voted yes to an integrated curriculum, facilities, demographic strategic plan presented by Superintendent Dr. Paul McKendrick.
Oh man, after I don't know how many months, but everyone's been saying 18, 19 months, so I'm just, it's a great victory for our children more than anything else. So I'm very happy about that. I was at a meeting yesterday when someone asked the question of what does this mean and what 2 or 3 words can you use, and I wish that we had used them earlier because this plan represents hope and opportunities for our children, and that's the great part about this.
The board first voted on the recommendation in October, but the vote ended in a 4-4 gridlock. It came as a surprise to some that this time the plan was approved by a unanimous 8-0 vote.
But I think that speaks volumes to the board and their efforts at understanding this and trying to get the best of what was good for our children. And it says a lot about how we would be able to implement this, because while the vote was important, the implementation is even more important, and an 8-0 vote sends a message to everybody that this is important and the board believes in it.
A last-minute amendment to the plan by McKendrick could have been the thing that tipped the scales. McKendrick recommended making the entire system a system of choice. There will be, of course, provisions to that item, but it is scheduled to be presented to the board in April.
Well, when you looked at everything that we were doing, we were agreeing on every part of this plan with the exception of one part, and that had to do with the zoning issue. And just could never get a compromise on it. But this then is a compromise because you basically are expanding choice, and so nobody loses it. It's the devil for us will be in the details, but we know that can get done in developing the policy and the proposal. But the greatest thing, though, is that everybody keeps choice. Everywhere that we've had it, it's just the procedures that we'll have to go through, and the way that this is going to be put into place is not to have choice in the sense where a child can go to any school that he wants. We're going to look at how we developed it and had to implement it through the No Child Left Behind model. A child wanted to go to another school, he or she applied for it or asked to request at that school, and then if we had space, that's what we did. And so there are some parts of it that we know are going to be true, like a child living in a zone or in an attendance zone will not lose his seat in that place. But if he wants to go to another school, he can do that.
City School students dug deep and came up with some creative ways to contribute to an organization designed to help others. The annual United Way campaign brought out students from every school to reveal how much money they had earned and some of the ways they raised it. Faculty student basketball games, change drives, hat days, and school dances are some of the events that brought in just over $11,000.
This program of the city schools, getting the students involved in fundraising and supporting the community, not only brings critical funds that are needed to support our education, health, and income stability needs, but also is so inspiring because the students come up with such creative ways to motivate other students to give and pay it forward.
Students realize the importance of this annual fundraiser and say it's important to contribute to an organization that benefits so many.
Yeah, it's always good to give back and just like help others that are always in need.
It makes me happy. It makes me feel proud of myself, kind of, because I know that I'm helping people.
It's really important to get involved when you're young so you can still make a difference and want to be involved when you're older.
What goes around will come right back around. Because if you start sharing with that person, then it's going to turn right back around and they're going to be sharing with you.
WSCA hopes that students giving now will lead to a lifetime of giving.
City Schools United Way student campaign is so important because it instills at an early age the importance of giving back and paying it forward in the community. And it is something that should be a lesson that is learned throughout life and continues to help us support the critical needs in our community, but also build that next generation of leaders.
And one school got really creative in giving students a great incentive to raise money. Students at Arcadia Elementary purchased $1 chances for the opportunity to pie some of the faculty in the face. Principal Amy Elam and several of the faculty got smashed with 2 whipped cream pies each as excited students cheered on their classmates. This event added to the $500 total that Arcadia contributed to the United Way. A heartwarming gift from a couple of caring organizations will also help out in the cold winter months for students at one school. Knights of Columbus and Nick's Kids Foundation have partnered to supply coats to each student at Oak Hill School.
We're doing a wonderful project, a fun project, and that is giving out coats. It's called Coats for Kids, and our Nick's Kids and our coaches' wives work to earn some money to contribute to it. So I'm really proud to be a part of this. We're having a lot of fun. These are great kids.
We first started dealing with Coats for Kids back in 2009, and we're very pleased that this year from our local affiliations we'll be heading into the distribution of 300,000 coats at the end of this year.
Both Knights of Columbus and the Nick's Kids Foundation are dedicated to supporting causes that will benefit children, families, teachers, and students. And these Oak Hill students were excited to pick up their new wares.
Well, I think they're really excited. That's what's wonderful about these young people is that they appreciate everything. It doesn't matter if they're getting new sheets or if they're getting a coat. They're not asking for much. They really, truly appreciate everything. So it's our pleasure to be able to help.
Just very excited to be in a joint venture with Mrs. Terry Sabin for the Nick's Kids Foundation. And much like them, we share their vision, and that is to work together in the spirit of faith and giving in our community to promote and support children, family, teacher, and student causes. It's all about the kids.
And some TCS teachers got a very Merry Christmas for a job well done. And again, it was from Nick's Kids Foundation. Music from students from the Rye School kicked off this 4th annual event that honors teachers for their hard work in the classroom.
In my mind, this award is a lot like our football players' Unsung Hero Award, where our teachers do so much for the community and they do so much for our children, and yet I don't think they get acknowledged enough or honored enough. So
Ms. Sabin spent years as a teacher, so she knows the ins and outs of the classroom and building successful students and people.
I was a teacher for probably 12 years full-time, and then of course we traveled around a lot because of Nick's job, so I substituted a lot along the way. So yeah, I can tell you firsthand that it's a wonderful profession, but sometimes it's somewhat thankless as well. So it's a real joy to be able to give them a little pat on the back for what they do.
Along with the recognition and thanks, the principal-nominated educators also received gifts to make the holidays much sweeter. One of Ms. Sabin's favorite parts of the event is when teachers share classroom experiences and tell of their dedication to the profession.
We raise money and we give each of the 25 teachers $500 in gift cards so they can maybe have a little nicer holiday. But the most important thing is that we come together in a holiday spirit and a spirit of camaraderie, and each teacher talks about how passionate they are about teaching and about learning and how much they love their students.
The Nick's Kids Foundation has impacted thousands of people since the Sabins have been in Tuscaloosa, including dozens of teachers.
So the cumulative effect is that 25 times 4, we've had 100 local teachers who we've been able to thank for what they do. So it's been a real fun luncheon, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Because of a gift from a local organization, more students will have an opportunity to develop their musical passion and skills. Thanks to a gift by the Tuscaloosa chapter of Links Incorporated, there will now be more sweet string music in the air.
Our organization purchased a string instrument, a cello, for the strings department here at West Lawn Middle School. Our organization focuses on the arts and it is an honor to be here and to support the students here at West Lawn.
It was quite a blessing. I'm very appreciative, and I'm so happy that there are still nice people in the world who's willing to sponsor and help the Strings program, because we need all that we can get to continue to grow and excel.
The West Lawn Middle School Strings program has experienced a growth from 38 to 72 students recently, and they will benefit greatly from this new instrument, paid for by donations from Links Incorporated members, proving that they are devoted to the arts.
Our organization is truly supportive of the arts, and each year we have an annual Young Artist Showcase where we highlight youth in the Tuscaloosa community and their talent. So we want to support West Lawn Middle School.
An annual fundraiser is allowing students to come up with creative ways to raise money while having fun.
We had a car and dog wash on Halloween to raise money for UNICEF, washed lots of cars and about 7 dogs as well. And some of my students have gotten so excited about helping others that they've even come up with their own community projects. We've had several kids do lemonade stands in their neighborhoods. We had a student have his own Halloween carnival in his neighborhood to raise money for UNICEF. So the students are really excited about helping others.
Thomas Elliott Ferry threw a carnival in his front yard, complete with food and games like ring toss, bottle knockdown, and bobbing for apples. So what inspired him to host this fundraiser that raised $468?
Our teacher, Miss Perkins, showing us the UNICEF video and about so many kids need help because they're not near as fortunate as we are.
UNICEF provides long-term humanitarian and developmental assistance to teachers and mothers in developing countries. For 10 years, students at Verner Elementary have been raising money for UNICEF.
Our students are so fortunate that they have amazing schools to come to every day, and not every child has that opportunity. It's important because we live in a global society for children to understand that they are fortunate and it's their job as citizens of the world to help others.
Because there are a lot of kids out there who have like sicknesses and diseases and need a lot more help than we do, so that they can have a good life.
A grand total of $3,788 was brought in for UNICEF by the Verner students.
When we come back, we'll have an interview that you do not want to miss. It's next. Don't go away.
Too many absences in kindergarten could lead to lower academic performance in first grade.
Students who are chronically absent are more likely to have lower third grade reading scores.
First grade students with 9 or more total absences are 2 times more likely to drop out of high school than their peers who attend school regularly.
Children can't learn if they aren't present in school.
Will you be here?
Keep up with the latest Tuscaloosa City Schools news. Check out exciting photos and informative videos by liking the Tuscaloosa City Schools on Facebook. Log on to facebook.com/TCS Board of Ed for the latest in City Schools news.
Teachers across Tuscaloosa are preparing the next generation of leaders, and their efforts are made easier with your support. From the classroom to the community to the playing field, see how City School students are making an impact. Watch Inside Tuscaloosa City Schools Monday through Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. and Thursday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. on Comcast Channel 20 and UVerse Channel 99.
For up-to-the-minute notices on important Tuscaloosa City Schools happenings, follow us on Twitter at TCS Board of Ed.
Welcome back. Today we're joined by the Director of High School Education for the Tuscaloosa City Schools, Mr. Terry Roller. Thanks for being with us today.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
And today we're talking about a recent measure that the Board of Education took where they approved a policy that will get the Tuscaloosa City Schools in compliance with the state who have come up with a virtual school initiative. So tell us about that a little bit.
Well, what we did was we are trying to get a head start on a bill that was passed where the state requires that all school districts in Alabama have a virtual school option. And what that means is that you can get a rich, robust educational experience at home, online, or through a blended model, as opposed to the traditional educational experience of the past.
Who are we targeting with this?
Well, you know, that's a really, really neat question because there's so many different things you can do. We have students that we're calling Olympians. These students are training, a rigorous training schedule. Some of them are athletes that have sort of made their way into a pre-Olympic trial, and they're having to travel all the time. I've seen students that were golfers that were spending 2 weeks playing golf, and those students were ironically falling into a category of being truant or missing too much school. Some of these students have 4.0 GPAs. This allows them to be part of their rigorous training or exercise or competitive program, as well as take all their courses at home online. That's one of our groups. Sometimes, life happens to students where students are required to go and be a part of the income earning in their families, and so students have to work and they have extended work hour schedules, and they're missing school or oversleeping the next day because they're contributing to their family income. This is a great opportunity for them. And then some are homeschool students that are doing homeschool or church school for whatever reason they may have, but they want an opportunity to get that rigorous advanced academic courseware. They can take some of that with us and still be a part of their homeschool option.
So what's the first step for students?
Great question. First step is you go to TuscaloosaCitySchools.com, you click on the virtual school option, you print off the application, you submit that to us, and if you're a student that lives within Tuscaloosa City Schools zone proper, you're accepted to the program with just a few questions. We take those students in, we give them a Chromebook, we create a personalized learning plan, and we allow those students to be a part of what we're doing.
Seems like just another way that the Tuscaloosa City Schools is making sure that they are taking care of all students in every situation that they have, and trying to get these students to graduate where they can, go on with their lives.
Well, in the past, seat time was the constant and learning was the variable. Well, now those roles have shifted, where learning is the constant and seat time is the variable. So now you can do just about anything that you can imagine and still have a robust, rigorous educational experience while working from home and doing whatever you need to do to help your family.
And once again, what do they need to do to get in contact with you?
Go to TuscaloosaCitySchools.com, pull up our website, click on the virtual school option, fill out the application, submit it to the school, and we'll be in touch with you.
Certainly an exciting time. We thank you for your time today, Mr. Roller.
Thank you so much for having me.
There's more coming up. Stick around.
Now you can watch Inside Tuscaloosa City Schools online. Visit schooltube.com/channel/TCS Board of Ed for the latest show.
Keep up with the latest Tuscaloosa City Schools news. Check out exciting photos and informative videos by liking the Tuscaloosa City Schools on Facebook. Log on to facebook.com/TCS Board of Ed for the latest in City Schools news.
Too many absences in kindergarten could lead to lower academic performance in first grade.
Students who are chronically absent are more likely to have lower third grade reading scores. First grade students with 9 or more total absences are 2 times more likely to drop out of high school than their peers who attend school regularly.
Children can't learn if they aren't present in school.
Will you be here?
A yearly national event that's designed to open students up to the world of computer science was a big hit at a local middle school.
Hour of Code is a time where students can come in and use the computers to do activities that are based on JavaScript coding language. And it's a celebration of computer programming and computer science.
It's really fun, and I would suggest people try it a lot.
Hour of Code is designed to stoke the students' interest by making interactive characters that they can program.
And there are several different scenarios that they can choose from. They're all based on well-known characters. So there's one about Star Wars, there's one about Minecraft, Frozen, Flappy Bird, and they can go online and they can manipulate the characters to move around and to achieve certain goals.
It's really fun knowing that you can just code something by making character moves just by little bars that tell you how to repeat and where to move and where to go, I would say.
Hickman says the goal of Hour of Code is for students to think long-term about the ever-changing world of technology.
And what we want to do by participating is to expose students to computer science and computer programming and get them thinking about what it takes to make a computer program or an app, and possibly encourage them to pursue careers in computer programming.
High school students are finding out what an honor and duty it is to vote and how they can make it happen.
Alabama Secretary of State John Merrill from Tuscaloosa returned home recently with a simple but important message.
Because the important message that we want to share is that each and every Alabamian that's eligible to vote needs to be registered to vote and needs to have a qualified government-issued ID so they can participate in the electoral process.
Merrill's goal is to visit schools in every county in Alabama to make students aware of their options.
As the chief elections official for the office of the Secretary of State and for the state of Alabama, I think it's incumbent on me to be out as much as I possibly can, to visit with as many folks as we can, to make sure they know what their options are.
With local and national elections coming up in 2016, Merrill says it's important for those who aren't registered to vote to become part of the process.
That's why education is so important in ensuring that each and every individual knows what their options are about participating in the process, whether it's to be a registered voter, whether it's to qualify to run for office, or whether it's to influence the process in another way. We want to make sure that they understand what all their options are so they can participate at the level they choose.
He answered numerous questions from students, and they actually finished up the session by registering to vote.
I learned that it's important because you're able to get your opinion across when you're voting in a democracy that's like the United States. Let's just dismiss it.
I learned that voting is really important to express your opinion, not only statewide, but national-wide, and everything counts, like every vote matters, so yeah.
Stick around, because when we come back, we'll show you some happy students who achieved something great because of hard work and dedicated teachers. It's next on Inside Tuscaloosa City Schools.
For up-to-the-minute notices on important Tuscaloosa City Schools happenings, follow us on Twitter at TCS Board of Ed.
Teachers across Tuscaloosa are preparing the next generation of leaders, and their efforts are made easier with your support. From the classroom to the community to the playing field, see how city school students are making an impact. Watch Inside Tuscaloosa City Schools Monday through Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. and Thursday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. on Comcast Channel 20 and UVerse Channel 99.
Now you can watch Inside Tuscaloosa City Schools online. Visit schooltube.com/channel/TCS Board of Ed for the latest show.
Because I was here, I get to go to college of my dreams.
In middle and high school, chronic absence is associated with lower graduation rates for all students.
My shot at a college athletic scholarship started here.
By 6th grade, missing 20% of school days is a critical warning sign of a school dropout.
Being here means better opportunities for my future.
Students, will you be here?
And a special ceremony marked a milestone that proved that hard work from students and teachers is paying off in the Tuscaloosa City Schools.
Well, we're here to celebrate our students who have attained English proficiency. These are children that come to us who have another language in the home or at some point in time spoke another language and needed specific ESL services, and at this time they have attained English proficiency.
It takes a total team effort for students to reach this point, and it sometimes takes several years to achieve.
Our students that have attained ESL proficiency are in the regular classrooms. Actually, our students that are limited English proficient are also in the regular classrooms, but receive specific accommodations and instructional strategies and supports. So at this time, since they are English proficient, they will no longer need those services.
Garcia says students who have been in the ELL program must score as English proficient on the Access for ELL assessment. And when they make it, that's reason to celebrate.
And their parents were so excited for them. So we just wanted to show them how excited we are for them, and that we know they've worked very hard to get to this point, because learning English is very difficult. Not only are they learning the English language, but they also are keeping up with the content as well.
She says the strong Tuscaloosa City Schools ESL team helps students find success.
We have a fabulous team. We have ESL specialists and coaches. We also have a bilingual social worker. So we're able to provide a lot of supports and services for these students and their families.
History comes to life at a local elementary school as students have fun and show off their work from an annual project.
Today is our Wax Museum. Our students studied different famous Americans throughout history, and they all got to dress up, and they're giving their speeches in first person.
Students conduct research, create posters, and even become fully immersed in their characters. Famous inventors, musicians, athletes, and astronauts were among the characters students chose to bring to life in the halls of their school.
As you can see, I have a person named Ben Carson. And other people have people too. We're just doing this because our teachers assigned this to us. This is a very fun project too. We have a project and we have to dress up as a character, do a poster, and do a speech, and mine suits me, Anthony.
This project is about hands-on fun learning, and students love it.
Well, I think it gives them confidence, especially public speaking, and it also gives them the ability to learn outside of the textbook or its informational text coming to life.
It's more fun. You can learn and have fun at the same time.
I've learned a lot about Charles Lindbergh because that he was an amazing pilot. And I just think everyone doing the Wax Museum has learned a lot.
I like to do projects because when I grow up, I want to go to college. I don't want to be just like the cartoon, but I want to create games. I want to be a game artist. I want to go to college, be educated.
Sims had a unique take on the process for bringing these characters to life.
The Wax Museum is kind of like a musical theater show because when my amazing teacher, Ms. Griffin, first gave me my person, that was like the auditions. Researching was rehearsals, and a few days ago we got costumes and posters, and that was like a dress rehearsal, and today's the actual show. So we have to give our audience everything we've got at it and just give them an amazing show.
Another local elementary school now has a garden, and students over there have been digging in the dirt and scratching out a learning opportunity.
This fall, Central Elementary welcomed the Druid City Garden Project. And now teachers are using this outdoor learning lab to capture their students' imaginations.
They're out here every week maintaining the garden, measuring the plant growth, making sure things are watering, weeding, etc., all the way until it's time to harvest and taste during a lesson, and then finally sell back to their parents during the Budding Entrepreneurs Program.
On this day, students did have the opportunity to taste some of the lettuce that the garden has produced. They also created maps of their garden. They get a real-world hands-on experience that transcends the curriculum.
Our main focus is a science and math-based curriculum, but we're also hitting those English language arts, we're hitting those social studies credits. We're really trying to get at all 5 core content areas while the kids are out here in the garden.
We use it a lot in the classroom to talk about graphing, to talk about number lines, to talk about the different kind of graphs that you might use. So it's really awesome to see it all incorporated back into our classrooms.
Students love looking at the progress of the cabbage, collards, strawberries, broccoli, beets, kale, and radishes that they've grown, and being outside makes it better.
What I like about coming outside and doing it is we get to water the plants, we get to measure them outside with the ruler, we get to touch.
We find that when our kids get their hands on the material, when they can actually bring their classroom concepts out into a space and they can move around, they are so much more engaged in their learning.
Baxter said these experiences are just the thing that some students need.
My favorite part is watching kids who don't necessarily excel in the classroom come out here and blow it away in the garden classroom. I've got students who would not sit down for about 5 to 10 minutes in the classroom that'll come out here completely still and lead a gardening lesson. So to me, that's the best part about this garden.
Arcadia Elementary School holds an annual ceremony to celebrate Veterans Day. Take a look at some of the highlights from this year's program.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming.
One reason we honor these amazing men and women is because they have fought for our country, and they serve us in many ways, from being a doctor or engineer to being out there on the battlefield.
Veterans Day is a time to honor the fathers and mothers, sisters and brothers, sons and daughters who served in the U.S. military. Veterans risk their lives for each one of us in our country. Veterans Day is an amazing day to honor and give tribute to the heroes who served. For their courageous acts of bravery, I'm glad we have Veterans Day to say thank you.
For more TCS news and information, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and visit TuscaloosaCitySchools.com. Thank you for watching this show and supporting local education. We'll see you next time.